Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Go ahead, subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell. Like this video. That helps me to keep making videos, and I'd appreciate it majorly. Yeah, so the federal judge, Nicholas Tartaglione, I don't know if he was actually in court, but his attorney was. I assume he was there too. Over, I guess the only matter was over him being transferred. I don't think this was in addition to some other court appearance that he was scheduled for. I believe it's specifically over the matter of, his lawyer wants him moved to a different prison, because he says he's being threatened by guards. And it says here that the federal judge is frustrated with the MCC. The federal judge is frustrated with the Metropolitan Correctional Center after Jeffrey Epstein's former cellmate complains of threats. So, I mean, if you read through this article, it sounds as though this judge seems pretty receptive to his attorney's arguments, I mean, he basically, he disagreed with the prosecutors and seemed to have a pretty open mind to what what Nicholas Tartaglione's attorney was claiming, The federal judge, a frustrated federal judge, hinted Wednesday he might hold jail officials in contempt after Jeffrey Epstein's former cellmate said he received threats from Metropolitan Correctional Center staff. Nick Tartaglione, who is facing the death penalty for quadruple murder. This guy he's being accused of 4 brutal murders. Okay? But this judge, he's frustrated with the Metropolitan Correctional Center staff. That's who he's frustrated with. Not the guy who's accused of 4 brutal murders, who's accused of shooting 3 people in the back of the head and somebody else at point blank range. He's frustrated with the Metropolitan Correctional Center staff who, what did they do to him again? Let me see. What did they do? They told him to shut up. They told Nicholas Tartaglione to shut up and to stop talking and to stop complaining. So this judge is frustrated with this. He's not frustrated. He doesn't seem too concerned about the 4 brutal murders this former cop is accused of. But he seems pretty concerned about the fact that correctional staff is telling a prisoner to shut up and to stop talking and stop complaining. So, obviously, you can sense my sarcasm, but I think it's fairly warranted, wouldn't you say? I would, definitely. And so it says, Nick Tartaglione has long complained about conditions at the troubled federal lockup. His attorney, Bruce Barkett, said the federal probes into Epstein's death had left Tartaglione in a vulnerable position. It just doesn't seem appropriate that he be housed and guarded by the very people who are under investigation, given his proximity to the investigation. That's his attorney. My client shouldn't have to fear for his life. In one instance, guards told Tartaglione to tell your lawyer to shut up about the conditions at MCC, according to Barkett. Judge Kenneth Karras, this is the judge right here. He is he's a Bush appointee right there. He's a federal judge in the Southern District of New York. He was a former U.S. attorney, I think. Anyways, at the Southern District of New York, or assistant U.S. attorney, I can't remember. In any event, it continues. Judge Kenneth Karras said he would hold contempt hearings if MCC isn't able to ensure Tartaglione's safety. The judge said the jail's legal team gave assurances that were not carried out by staff. The status quo really isn't acceptable. Factually, there is a disconnect. There just seems to be problems implementing what MCC legal says they're going to do, Karras says. And I'll start having hearings, and I'll start throwing around contempt and so on and so forth. This is the judge speaking, seems to be arguing on behalf of the attorney for Nicholas Tartaglione. That's what it sounds to me. He sounds like he's unhappy with the MCC, unhappy with MCC correctional staff, as well as MCC legal. And it seems like he's in favor for some kind of solution to Nicholas Tartaglione being moved. That's what it sounds like to me. Tartaglione, a former Briarcliff Manor cop, claims to have saved Epstein's life, whatever. Karras, the judge, proposed moving Tartaglione to the Metropolitan Detention Center, which is in Brooklyn. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jason Sweargold said Tartaglione had previously been transferred out of that jail because of disciplinary issues. Okay. Sounds pretty convenient to me, like Karras is recommending another institution he had already been transferred out of. So, if the answer from MDC really is, this is Karras speaking, I'm fairly certain, if the answer from MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, really is no, and by the way, you don't have the authority to order he be transferred to MDC, which I'd be curious to read that authority, then we're going to have to make life very uncomfortable for MCC officials, Karras said. It's pretty remarkable, dude, if you ask me, man. But in any event, and that's where the article ends. But over at the New York Post, it says that with regards to the matter, that Judge Karras, whichever, Wednesday, instructed prosecutors to speak with the U.S. Marshals Service and try to iron out a housing solution for Tartaglione, saying the status quo really isn't acceptable. Tartaglione, who faces the death penalty, we'll see if that ever comes to fruition, I seriously doubt it, is back in court on September 17th. So Judge Karras is basically telling the prosecutors to work with the U.S. Marshals Service and try to iron out a housing solution for Tartaglione. But, that seemed odd to me because does the U.S. Marshals Service have anything to do with where you house a prisoner? And, based on what I looked up, no, it doesn't, okay? And I was just curious who heads the U.S. Marshal Service. It's a Trump appointee who was appointed in October 2018. But when you look at the primary, responsibilities for the agency, housing a prisoner has nothing to do with the Marshal Service. Nothing. Okay, but the person who oversees it just happens to be appointed by Donald Trump, and it seems to be like sort of separate from, it's part of the Justice Department, but it's this little agency out here, and so why is it being delegated to them if for no other reason than the fact that the appointee was recently appointed by Trump, and I think you can make your own inferences. But it says the Marshal Service is the primary agency for fugitive operations, the protection of officers of the federal judiciary, the management of criminal assets, the operation of United States Federal Witness Protection Program, and the Justice, Prisoner, and Alien Transportation System. That's like Con Air. That's why I thought maybe that was it, because that's like transporting, like high risk prisoners from one prison to the next. But that's not like housing them. That's just they're responsible for transporting them. Has nothing to do with this agency should not decide where this prisoner is going to spend the rest of his jail sentence, until he goes to trial. Unless, like I said, it just so happens that, obviously the person who oversees it is, was recently nominated by Trump and therefore is, he has an allegiance to Trump, obviously. Pretty convenient, though, I would say. And we'll see. We'll see what I'm sure this person will come up with some alternative, and and he is. I bet anything he does not stay at the MCC. This judge sure didn't seem like he didn't think it was good. Thought he should be moved. A judge who supposedly is hard, like a hard judge. This New York Post article is about how rough he is on a politician. This is from 2015, but he seemed very, receptive to this Nicholas Tartaglione's attorney's argument. And he delegated it to, this dude right here, a Donald Trump appointee, nominee. That's the story there, dude. That is the story there. You tell me I'm wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. Dude, do whatever you want, dude. It doesn't make any difference to me. You know, it all is what it is. That's the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.